I've been listening to a lot of things. It's football season, and Mina Kimes did an interview with Cam Jordan of the Saints, who he's going to definitely have a media career. He's a character. He's hilarious. He talks about and gives takes on everything. They made him rank 10 quarterbacks based on who got like photo generated, not his top 10, just like Daniel Jones pops up.
Right.
And so you had to rank whoever stopped.
The first 10 that showed up. Yeah.
Right. And Jones was like at the very back end, and all he had was 3, 2, and 1. And he just refused. He's like, no, he's 11. He is 11.
He's not a top 10 quarterback.
And they made him put him at 3, and he was all pissed off. It was really funny. He jokingly did a bit, but I think he meant some truth in it, where he was asked, is there enough hate in the NFL anymore? Is it too friendly? The NBA gets this, and they've had this for a while because a banana boat picture surfaced. Yes. And, God forbid those guys be friends.
Everybody's buddies. They want to team up and play against each other. Our generation would never do that.
Barkley and Jordan didn't golf together during the finals.
Nope, never did.
Oh, wait. That's right. It
Danny Ainge didn't either. Larry Bird didn't. Larry Bird and Magic weren't friends as their careers went on.
Oh, Thomas and Magic didn't kiss at center court. How dare you?
I don't know if you remember all this, like a decade ago, Joe Torre, when he became assistant to the commissioner or whatever, he made a big push for MLB players. Like once fans got into the stadium, hey, don't talk to each other, don't fraternize. It's a bad look if you guys are friendly. And it's
Does that matter to you?
No. In fact, I would love to see more of that. I think it's cool when they're talking to each other. You get to hear what they're talking about. I want to be a fly on the wall for those convos.
The only ones that ever bother me are when, and this is kind of a stupid fandom thing, but like this happened yesterday. I turned the Giants game on. They lost to the White Sox, so that was awesome.
Oh, your season's cooked.
I mean, they're done. And in the ninth inning, they were down 6-2. 2 outs, and they had a runner on third, and the guy on third was joking with the third baseman.
I see that a lot in
and I'm
baseball,
just like, dude, like,
does
that
bother you?
That one gets me.
What if they're like best friends or they've known each other
after
for
the game.
15 years?
After the game. You could do it in batting practice. You can do it. You're losing to the White Sox. The White Sox are 50 games, 60 games below 500.
Yeah.
You need, they won the first 2. You needed a sweep just to have any semblance of hope of keeping your season alive. You couldn't do it. It's an embarrassing loss. You're at home. The stands are a quarter full because everybody's left or they weren't there in the first place, and you're yakking it up on third base. Though when it's my team and my fandom, it bothers me. Like the general friendships in leagues, I couldn't care less.
The thing that bothers me is in football when a team's getting absolutely bludgeoned and they score and they celebrate. Yeah. That's when I'm like, we're still doing the gritty, huh? Yeah. We're down 18 now, and we're doing the gritty.
It was 28-0. Now it's 28-7. Congratulations on your sweet dance.
Like
nice touchdown.
Derek Anderson, former Beavers quarterback, shouting at the media when he got caught during a loss with the Cardinals, talking and laughing with one of his players.
Oh, yeah.
And he lays into the guy about how much work he puts into it. It's like, no, but you didn't really answer the question of the look of you joking with another player during a game. He basically just said, oh, I'm not joking with him. You're laughing, but okay, crazy.
Well, do you guys think that the hate? I liked his answer. It was basically like some divisions teams hate each other more than others, and
there are built-in rivalries for sure.
Right? Like he cited the AFC North. He said it's a weird division. They hate each other, but they all play for each other. A Brown becomes a Steeler, and then a Steeler becomes a Raven, and then a Raven becomes a Bengal, and I thought he made a really good point, but also I think he's wrong. I think there are a lot of friendships, but I watch a lot of football, and when they're playing, man, there's a lot of S-talking just going on.
There is.
I don't think there's any less hate in the NFL.
I think what I would take it to another level of, by the way, this shows you how little that I pay attention and did not notice. Otson is cashless as well. People are texting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
you for the text police.
That shows how I had no clue.
I don't know if research.
Buy anything in cash. I had no clue. I just, here's my card.
I bought stuff at the UW Oregon State game, and I just, guess what? Used my card. There was actually a cashless a line you grab and you just go pay,
which is so much easier.
They have this at the Moda Center now too. It's hey, grab your stuff and you'll just end up crossing a threshold. Like that Amazon grocery store, they just know how to charge you.
It's like an auto bill thing.
Yeah.
Which is you don't even have to scan anything on the way out.
No.
I got 2 hot dogs, a bottle of water, and a bag of chips.
That's exactly what it was.
It'll be $79.97.
Wow.
I think what I would say, the friendship stuff to me I'm fine with. And guys, you're in a fraternity, you're playing in a league, there's a support of contracts, you're in a union, I understand all of those things. These guys have grown up, they played with each other, against each other, they've known each other for years. What I would say, though, is that I do feel like, and maybe this is just in the moment not thinking of one, and you guys are going to call me an idiot, I do feel like we're lacking great rivalries. Like in my
You
head,
think we're lacking it in
I do.
sports or like the NFL?
I'm just thinking about the NFL right now. Maybe other sports
What's
as
the
well.
best rivalry right now in the NFL? Because to me, this is going to sound dumb to you. I'm almost like, you can give me games that mean a lot to your fandom, right?
Of course.
Like when my Niners play the Packers or the Cowboys, I'm always like, childhood me, here we go. We're plugged in. I hate these teams right now. But if you asked non-fan Sprague, right, take the hat off, I'm almost like, is the best rivalry Patrick Mahomes versus the NFL?
Versus everybody else.
You know, because they're dominating right now. We're all going to think they're going to win the Super Bowl. What is the best rivalry right now in the NFL? You watch it and you feel, even if you're not a fan of the team, especially if you're not a fan, you can feel it through your TV.
I mean, I feel like the only ones that even stand out to me are, and probably always will, Ravens and Steelers every time they play, even though it's always like a 10-9 game. And then like Cowboys and Eagles. Like Dallas in Philly, I like, you can feel the hatred on television when you watch it, but I don't necessarily feel it as much on the field. Like I think back to, it's probably 10 years ago now, but when you had like Legion of Boom Seattle against San Francisco, those cities hating each other, those teams hating each other, Harbaugh and Carroll, the history, they played each other twice every year. They met in the playoffs quite often. Like that was
iconic games.
That was great. And that you could feel it when you watched it. And
Pittsburgh, Baltimore had some of that too.
That's the only one that like every year, doesn't really matter how good or bad the teams are, that you just kind of know that is built in. And I think Dallas is this way with everybody in the NFC East because everybody hates Dallas. And so there's a little bit of that.
Yeah, like does New York hate Washington?
I mean, I think they do, but not to the level that they hate Dallas.
Dallas is the different one in that division.
Everybody hates Cowboys versus everybody's a bit of a rivalry.
Ravens-Steelers to me will mean nothing. Even if it will end up being close because of rivalry, I don't feel it with the Steelers right now.
No, it's not it's not a title contending team.
That team is not good. No. If they make the playoff, it'll be by like the thinnest of margin, and they'll get blown out in their playoff game. Like, not even the diehest of diehard Steeler fan is going and going, yep, we're contending this year. Yeah. You know your team kind of sucks. So it's not, even if they beat Baltimore one of the two times, I'm not juiced for that game the way I have been.
I feel like some of these two are just naturally created by matchups in the playoffs and tough losses or tough wins. Like, I think there's a bit of this, if he can stay healthy this year and they can get back. Like, you kind of had this brewing with Kansas City and Cincinnati, where Cincinnati beat them in the AFC title game, went to the Super Bowl. The next year, they met again in the AFC title game.
Chase refuses to say Mahomes' name.
There's a little bit like, all right.
There's a little bit to that. I'll give you that.
We thought maybe Buffalo, Kansas City was going to be that, and last year they did play a great playoff game, but it feels like Buffalo is maybe a step below a little bit right now, and I hope I'm wrong on that because I'd love to see the Bills win this year. But they had that kind of trending, and you had the 13-second game. The AFC title game was the year before, and then Buffalo kind of fell off a little bit, and Kansas City surged. So some of that stuff's just naturally created that when you play so often in the playoffs, you start to hate somebody, hate a team, hate a coach, and I don't feel like you have that right now.
And I think the part of the problem with that matchup, Buffalo and Kansas City, because I agree with the Cincinnati one and Kansas City. They beat them in the playoffs. Burrow gets hurt. Jamar Chase refuses to say Mahomes' name to give him any credit. The Buffalo-Kansas City one lacks for me in the regard of, we talk about it a lot because it's Allen Mahomes.
Yeah, quarterback versus quarterback.
They don't, outside of like a regular season game, last year or the year before, they don't beat them.
No.
When it matters the most,
they don't beat them in the playoffs.
So far, Buffalo doesn't beat them.
You got to win one.
And it's a little bit of big brother, little brother going on, where little brother, I think, has gotten them once or twice in a regular season game, but when they meet in the playoffs, whether that's home or road, Kansas City always edges them.
And that's why I think Cincinnati had it, because they beat him in an AFC title game down by, 20 points in the first half or whatever it was in Kansas City. You won it, and then you went back the next year, and you were this close to winning it again. And so there was that give and take of, this is going to be a memorable matchup. And maybe Burrow gets back and he's healthy this year and we have it again. But to me, it's the friendly stuff doesn't matter. I do think we need more rivalries.
More juice.
And some of those just have to be you can't manufacture. It's like a nickname. You can't just give yourself a nickname. It's got to be got to be created organically, and rivalries hopefully will continue to grow.